Growing up, I was always asked, where are you from? And for me, it was a hard question because I was born in the States, but I knew that I was Somali. My parents made sure that no matter what, we knew we were Somali. So much that when I would take standardized tests, I would look for Somali. You were asked to tick either black, Latino, white, or other. And I would look for Somali. I was sure of it. I would ask the teacher, like, I don't see Somali on here. And they would say, oh, it's not going to be on there. You need to pick one of these. So then I would just put other, because I wasn't okay with being something else. So then, when I went to college, the question still came around again. Where are you from? And I would say, oh, I'm from Virginia. And then people wouldn't be satisfied with that. They're like, no, but where are you from? I'm like, what do you mean from? Where are your parents from? And I would say, oh, my parents are from Somalia. I'm Somali. Oh, you're from there. Yeah. What do you mean? I was always upset by that reaction. You're from there. And so it really bothered me, and I went online and I looked. And the problem was pictures like this. This is what you get when you Google Somalia. And I wasn't okay with that, because for me, the Somalia I knew was this. This is me on Lido Beach in 1990. And that's my mom and my brother. That's the Somalia I knew. Or this is Shalama Super. That's where my parents met. So that's what I knew. So the stories I knew were the positive ones. In face of everything going on, I still always thought Somalia was beautiful. So I decided to do something about that. I decided I wanted to come back. And so I went about developing a project called Don't Believe the Hype, The Real Somalia. And I told my parents I wanted to go back to bring back the good stories, the stories of the people that decided to stay, the people that were building businesses, the kids going to school. I wanted people to see this side of Somalia and not those bad pictures. So I went online, created this project, and in the first week, I raised over $1,000 to do this project. not so fast. But then what happened, you have to raise the full amount within 30 days. And I didn't reach my goal. I actually failed. And I was like, what went wrong? There's so many people curious about Somalia, but nobody wanted to contribute to this idea. So I was sad, I was upset, and this was back in May, so it's just recently. And I didn't know what to do because I knew that I really wanted to come back home. I wanted to come to Somalia. And then I got an email from my best friend, and it said, you don't lose until you stop trying. So I said it again, you don't lose until you stop trying. And I was like, you know what? Whatever. I'm still going. I'm going back home. I'm going to see Somalia for myself, and I'm going to find stories to share. I'm going to find people who are doing great things. And it turns out I didn't have to look too far. This is my little cousin, Marian Rooney, and she reminds me of the kid next door back in Virginia. She goes to school in the morning, she comes home, she goes and plays soccer. She's a diehard soccer fan, so much that she requested any clothes I send her must be Manchester United, nothing else. And I said, okay, she's like the kids next door, like these kids, smiling. They're not upset, they're happy with life. Then there's my uncle. I didn't have to look far for him either. He was actually my tour guide. But what I didn't know at first is that he's a businessman. He's an entrepreneur. He started a bakery and now has grown his business to have 7 bakeries. And he's still expanding. So for me, I was like, my uncle, he's a businessman. Then there was my parents, who for me, traveling back here was a big decision for myself, but for them, they've been back. But this is their first time in Somalia in 31 years together. So for me, it was a real eye-opening thing that they got to be here together. I got to see them at the airport, hug each other, and it felt like something was right, finally, that this is where I should be, this is where they should be. This is my dad laughing at something I was saying on Jazeera Beach, and it was no crazy bad picture there. It was just people playing in the water or enjoying a meal at the restaurant. This is probably one of the big, profound moments for me. This is when I got to see the house that my parents were married at, where my oldest brother was born. And initially when I saw it, I thought to myself, oh goodness, it is broken. What are we going to do? And then when I went back with my parents, They didn't even talk about the parts that were broken. They just showed me, this is the room where we were. This is where your brother was. This is where the kitchen was, the living room. They remembered the good parts. So in their eyes, they were reliving the beauty of Somalia. And they didn't see anything bad. They just decided, oh, we're going to build on this foundation. It's strong enough. We don't need to tear it down and start with something new. What we have is beautiful. So then I went to Hamarweyne. That was my first time, and that was awesome because there's so many businesses there. There's people talking about prices for the food, the tomatoes, the onions, and everything. And this part I liked the most because I got to see a transaction with EVC. Because before I wondered, how do people carry around money? And I quickly learned there's EVC. You just throw the money, and then whoosh, you're done. So then, so this is the end for me. This is where it hit me that I was finally home. I was standing on top of Oriental Hotel, overlooking the beach, and I finally felt at peace. I felt like where I was from didn't have to be a negative place. And if it was negative for somebody, it wasn't for me. Where I'm from is Somalia. I was born abroad, but I'm Somali. And what I want people to understand now is that they should come and rediscover what's going on here because things are changing. I can walk the streets. I can go to the local store and buy food. I can go even buy a coffee and send the money via telephone. And I don't have to sit in the dark like people think Somalia is. So what I want people to understand now is I have finally understood is that where I'm from is beautiful. Somalia is amazing. It has a strong foundation and it has a bright future. Thank you.